What's June Diane Raphael's favorite Christmas movie? Why do pillows sleep all day? And how to get your kid off being addicted to Oogieloves. All this and more on today's very important Last Looks. Everybody, places! It's Last Looks.
This is the last look, but Paul's such a stand-up guy. He lets us all say goodbye to last week's film. See you later, gotta go. Cheerio, ta-ta, for now, farewell.
Hello, all you milkshake suckers, silent bongo players, and Horty vacuum cleaners. I'm your host, Paul Scheer, and welcome to How Did This Get Made's Last Looks, where you get to voice your issues on Oogieloves in the Big Balloon Adventure. You hated this movie, and I can't wait to hear more reasons why. Today, we have a very special guest on the show. The one, the only, Miss June Diane Raphael joins me for Just Chat. Jason couldn't be here, so it's June and I. We go dark, we go light, we go weird. Stay tuned for that. Plus, we're going to reveal next week's movie. And as always, I will try to solve your problems on Paul's Helpline. But first things first, a big shout out to Quinn for that amazing opening song. Thank you, Quinn. We love these songs. If you have one for Last Looks, send them in to howdidthisgetmade@earwolf.com, but keep them short. 15 to 20 seconds is best. Now, let's get into it. I know we talk a lot about movies, but there are bigger things out there. You got problems? Let me solve them. It is now time for Paul's Helpline.
Paul's Helpline, you can call it anytime. 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 Paul's Helpline.
Ooh, I love that neon sweatsuit, bringing the heat. Okay, this one I truly love and I get. Christy, tell me your problem.
Hey, Paul. Looking for some advice from you. I'm kind of worried that my husband and I have made a pretty big mistake. We watched Oogieloves with our two kids who are 6 and 3, and they love it. So much that the younger one actually asked to watch it as like her comfort show when she's not feeling well. So we've seen it too many times. Is there hope for us yet? Any advice on how we can get through this? We appreciate it. Thanks again for coming to Detroit. You're awesome. Bye.
Oh, no, Christy. I am so sorry, but this is what I was talking about. There's not much difference between the Oogieloves and the shit I've been watching. I watch so many episodes of Thomas the Tank. And I hate that show. I hate it with a passion. And it's humorless and not like it's devoid of humor is what I mean. And so what I'm saying is, at least there's something to look at in Oogieloves. I don't think it's that bad. Yes, you made a mistake. It might be a comfort thing, but know this. The one thing I know about kids is they grow out of it. What they like right now, they'll be done with in a month. Start putting on some holiday movies and they'll forget about it. You'll be watching Home Alone 2 10 times a day in no time. Christy, God bless you. You're doing the Lord's work, and I hope you bought it, because if you're renting it multiple times, that's another fallacy. Once your kid likes something, buy it. Spend that money. June used to rent it over and over again. Why are you renting it? It's not like we're not in the old days of like Blockbuster. Just buy the shit. $19. You're not saving any money by spending $3.99 on it. Anyway, thank you, Christy. Good luck. Let me know if you go insane. If you do, we will raise some money for you to get you out of that mental institution. Now, I will say this. You're not alone, because Alex in Michigan also is dealing with this. So, Alex, I see you. I hear you. And you know what? This is what you get. You like adult podcasts. You want to bring your kids into it. It's your fault. You know what? Treat this movie like you treat an R-rated film, people. So if you have not watched it yet and you have young kids, don't think, oh, we could do a 2-for-1. I can enjoy it on one level. They can enjoy it on another. No, you open up a Pandora's box there. So, Alex and Christy, I'm sorry. All right. So now last week I asked you to call in with some Thanksgiving gripes. We got a lot of incoherent calls from very intoxicated listeners, which I loved. I did love. I could not air them, but I loved them. But luckily, a couple of you kept your shit together. This was from an anonymous caller. Take a listen.
Hey, Paul and team. Happy holidays, everybody. Hope all is well. You said to send some information about venting regarding my personal things, so I thought I'd vent a little bit to you. Tomorrow I get to spend lunch with my dad's side and dinner with my mom's side, and my mom hates my dad's side, and my dad gets frustrated by my mom's side, and I get to sit in the middle of all of it, in which I get to be frustrated by absolutely everybody. My general means of getting through this is to just enjoy some wine and try to keep calm. But if you have any suggestions about how to get through the holidays, dealing with family, and all their bullshit, I would love to hear it. And best wishes again to everybody. Thank you so much.
Now, I couldn't quite put this together. You're having two separate meals. How do you deal with it? That's the best of both worlds, my friend. You don't have to deal with it. You know what? I think what you say whenever you do it, because this is how I grew up my entire life. My parents were separated. I would go to my dad's. I would go to my mom's. I'd spend different time with them. My dad never talked about my mom. My mom occasionally talked about my dad. But you could just nip it in the bud. You know what? You say, you know what? We're having such a good time. Let's forget about them for today. Let's just pretend they don't exist. Create a game about it. Redirect is what I've learned also as a parent. Redirect attention to something else. Find something else to talk about. I think the thing that is so hard is to, not that you have to pick a side, but your parents sometimes, when they're not being respectful of you, want you to pick a side. So you could either lean into that and just pick a side and just because basically all you want to do is get them off the topic. So redirect it, agree with them, or just make a rule. We'll make a rule that makes us all happy. We're never going to talk about them or pretend they don't exist for today, just for today. Maybe that will work. Let me know how that goes. Anonymous. Next call, John from Ohio.
Hey, Paul, this is John from Ohio. I'm calling to let you know, ask you a question about Thanksgiving. I recently found out a member of my extended family, very nice young man, brilliant, great family man, just sold a business for $100 million. Now, I'm not sure that everybody knows I can handle that sort of information. Some people in the family, maybe not. Should I not say anything? Or if I'm sitting beside him, maybe say something like, these potatoes are delicious. I could probably eat 100 million plates of them. Let me know. Thanks, Paul. Happy Thanksgiving.
Whoa. Wow. Now I kind of want to know what this company is. No, you should not do that potato thing. Don't be a jerk. You want this guy to take you on vacations with you or do something fun. What I would suggest is you don't say a goddamn word, but you could corner him and politely say, my gosh, I'm so proud of you. That's amazing. Let me know if I can run an interference for you with the family or you're telling them or whatever. But I say play dumb to your family. You don't want to have that information. Let them come to you. You can watch them get all spun out about it. But I would say to that person, just be kind of cool about it and take them on the side and just, get in his good graces. My goodness, this guy's $100 million. Get a good stocking stuffer gift from him or something. Anyway, we are always looking for more Paul's Helpline voicemails. If you need some advice or second opinion about anything, please give me a call. Now, here's the thing. The holidays are coming up, and we just re-released our Babes in Toyland episode where I got into a fiery debate with June and Jason over whether or not a sled is a good gift. Okay? I still believe that the sled is just something your family should have. I don't think it should be given as a gift, but be that as it may, I want you to call in and rant about the worst gifts you've ever received. For Hanukkah, for Christmas, for whatever you're celebrating, let me know, and we will determine here on air if you are right about it or wrong about it. All right. I want to hear from you about these gifts. Just give me a call at 619-PAUL-ASK. That's 619-PAUL-ASK. People, if you have not heard, How Did This Get Made is going to vinyl. That's right. We are making a limited edition, a bespoke piece of art. How Did This Made is making a Drop Dead Fred LP. That's right. We have a double album, a double vinyl album of our episode remastered by our audio engineer, Devin Bryant, to crystal clear perfection. Now you can own this amazing piece of art one-time pressing. That is it. Just go to Bandcamp, hdtgm.bandcamp.com to order it. Now, we've already made our goal, which allows us to print it, but you can keep on ordering because we are only taking orders at this point. For the next month, whoever gets in, that's it. After we get all those orders, we are never printing it again. It's a beautiful piece of art. One side is a Drop Dead Fred side. The other side is more of a Team Sanity side. I should say Team Sanity, Team Fred side. It's beautiful. It's done so well. You can pre-order it now, and you can actually print out a PDF that you can stuff in someone's stocking so they can have that for whatever holiday. Well, if it's a stocking, Christmas, but you want to give it as a Hanukkah gift, it will probably come in May, I believe that's what we're talking about. So it's going to be a little bit of time because we don't even finish this fundraise until the end of December. So head to hdtgm.bandcamp.com to find out more, or just to our website, and we will tell you everything that you need to know about the very first How Did This Get Made vinyl LP. Oh, it's gorgeous. Gatefold cover and everything. All right, coming up, we will read your questions, comments, and concerns on Oogieloves. But first, to get in the Oogie spirit, here's a fun deleted scene from the episode where Jason and June dive deeper into their hatred of this movie. We'll be right back after this.
Now, June, when did it turn for you? Because when I left you, you were enjoying yourself.
Shocked.
Wow.
Look at me.
I was, well, first of all, I had just finished a venti iced coffee frappuccino, and it was coursing through my veins, and I was ready for something, and I was bracing, and I thought, you know what? You told me, Paul, that it was better than what Jason said last night, because when Jason came backstage, he said he watched 15 minutes of it, and it was the worst thing he's ever seen.
I watched 15 to 20 minutes of it a couple of nights ago, and basically had a panic attack. I had to take a Xanax and put myself down.
Yeah, he's like,
I was like, I feel
difficult.
not safe.
This is going to be so difficult. So I thought, I'm trying a new way of being. I'm trying to approach things with a lot of positivity.
Lead with love.
So I'm trying to lead with love. And so I put it on.
Love.
And
lead with Oogie Love.
And I just
T-shirt.
thought, you know what? This is the moment you find yourself in, June. Like, go fully in to what they're asking you. The movie's asking me to dance, and I did. I did. But why wasn't this movie a half an hour shorter?
Why wasn't this movie
so
a half an hour long? Why wasn't this movie?
Why was it a movie?
Why wasn't this movie a 22-minute episode of? Why wasn't this movie a YouTube short?
Last week, we talked at length about Oogieloves and the Big Balloon Adventure. We had questions, and we might have even missed a few things. Here's your chance to set us straight. Fact check us if you will. It is now time for Corrections and Omissions.
Corrections and omissions, we ain't rocket scienticians. A swing and a miss, now somebody's pissed. We took a crack, but it weren't a fact. Now the fans are gonna yell at us. Corrections and omissions.
Yes, thank you, Damon Gentry, for that amazing theme. We are going to the How Did This Get Made Discord. If you're not there, you're not anywhere. Dr. Guts 1003 writes, I didn't understand why they had each of the celebrities give the Oogieloves a gift for Schluffy, only then to have them show up at the end via the windy window and blast Schluffy in the face with their own signature presents. That seemed unnecessarily redundant, not to mention that all the gifts the celebrities gave seemed to be better presents than the balloons themselves, which undercut the importance of getting the balloons in the first place, sentient or not. Well, look, how are you supposed to know, okay? The Oogieloves spent money on sentient balloons. They thought that was super important. Little did they know that other people got better gifts. I mean, that happens to us all, right? You think you got a perfect gift, and then your friend gets your other friend a better gift, and you're like, oh, shit, I feel like a real shitbird right now. They didn't know. The Oogieloves are doing their best. Stop trying to shame them for giving sentient balloons. By the way, sentient balloons are tough to beat. I mean, personally. Anyway, why did they show up twice? Well, because you had to get your money's worth. I mean, we know. Django writes, Gooby is shocked every time they get a balloon and a face appears on it. After the first one, wouldn't you just expect it? Well, no, Django. There's a rule. A rule is the first time it's odd, the second time it's a coincidence, and the third time it's a pattern. That's like a classic rule of comedy. And so Gooby is, I think after the third one, then you have a point. But you know what? For the first three, this is comedy at its highest point. Vitriol writes, I'm just going to have to give my theory on why Schluffy is shown sleeping all day. Because pillows only work at night, or as you would say, pillows only work at night. Also, by the way, let me just call this out. Brilliant. Vitriol, brilliant. What you just came up with there. Also, J. Edgar Hoover is the former head of the FBI, which makes it all the more interesting that in the movie has him keeping tabs on what the Oogies are doing with an all-seeing window. Whoa, Vitriol, you are digging deep. Are you sure you're not the screenwriter of this? Sean McBee replies to Vitriol by saying, so I looked up the original PBS show, My Bedbugs, that Oogieloves stole its characters from, and I learned why Schluffy the pillow is sleeping all the time. The My Bedbugs character was named Snoozy. Why would that be changed to the nonsensical name Schluffy? Well, probably for copyright reasons, is one of the most baffling things that this movie has done. Well, yeah, no, it's not. It really is. I imagine it's just copyright, because if they took Snoozy, maybe they could take one character, but not all the characters. I like Schluffy better. Schluffy is weird. Sarah Land chimes in, actually, Schluffy isn't a nonsense word. It's actually a take on a Yiddish word of schluff, to sleep or nap, but apparently commonly used to tell kids to go to sleep. By the way, Melissa Rauch from Big Bang Theory played my wife on Black Monday, and that was actually a little term that we used together in the scene that many people responded to. So I have a connection with Schluffy, and especially used in that way. So thank you, Sarah Land, for illuminating this a little bit further. But now let's go to the phones.
Hi, Paul. I'm calling from Washington, D.C., and I'm sorry I have to go as no name because I'm mentioning one of my kids. So 10 years ago, before Oogieloves came out, I was one of a few moms who were invited to go to a pre-release event where we met the writer and director and heard all about how this movie came to be. It was very awkward having to watch the movie with them in the room with us, especially because I could not get my kids to participate at all. And although it was not a great experience, there is one thing that has stuck out to me for the past 10 years that is my favorite part. When Tony Braxton steps out of that plane with that pink dress on, my 5-year-old daughter sitting next to me went, oh, which was basically one of many signs leading her to be the out and proud kid that she is today. Thanks for everything you guys do.
Finally, a positive thing from the Oogieloves. I love that. That's amazing. What a great look. Just for that, this movie goes up another star. And it's already at 4 stars, so 5 stars. That's awesome to hear. And look, you know what? I get it. Next up, Natalie from Detroit.
Hi, Paul. This is Natalie. I just got home from the live show in Detroit. I've got an omission and a comment. First comment is, I think Detroit deserves a little bit of credit. I think that one other crowd can boo you about the movie choice and then also still do that god-awful dance when you played the clip about doing the Oogie dance. And then the omission that I wanted to call in about is, and we almost got to it, but we were talking about how the cook at the milkshake palace or whatever it is a cow. But I guess my question, and one thing we didn't talk about, is where's that milk coming from? All right, that's it. Thanks, bye.
Oh, Natalie, that's gross. I know it's all puppets and stuff, but now I'm grossed out. Unless it's like one of those M&M situations. This is a bit that I'm obsessed with that no one finds funny but me. I love these M&M commercials where like they're standing like the M&Ms with the feet and the hands and the arms are standing next to a bowl of regular M&Ms, and they're essentially like presiding over genocide. But like, why are they? I can't even do the bit that I love. I think there's a bit here and I can't quite find it, but I maybe this cow has a bunch of cows in the back hooked up to some robotic udders, is what I'm saying, or some udder pumping machine, which now I'm even more grossed out. Stop grossing me out, Natalie from Detroit. Next up, Lee from Ontario.
Hey, Paul, this is Lee calling from Ontario, Canada, and I had kind of a wild theory about the Oogieloves movie and the filmmakers, and I wanted to run it by you and get your opinion. So, do you think the possibility exists that the filmmakers of the Oogieloves were trying to achieve in real life what the evil Silver Shamrock Company from Halloween 3 Season of the Witch was trying to achieve, aka using children's programming to, kill a bunch of kids and adults? Possibility, maybe? Do we know that the filmmaker has Irish heritage? I'm just saying it might be worth looking into. I know nobody died watching this movie, but it seemed to unnaturally scramble a lot of people's brains, Jason specifically. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I think it's a possibility. I love the podcast. I was actually at the Governor Gabby show you guys did in Toronto, and it was legit one of the best nights of my life. You were actually standing very close to me up in the balcony asking somebody a question, and I was going to ask a question, but I chickened out at the time. Your mustache at the time was very intimidating. Okay, thanks again. Much love to you, June, and Zooks. Take care.
Lee! I wish she asked her question. You're a smart guy. And yes, my mustache was intimidating. Look, we don't know if people died from this movie because it wasn't, maybe it wasn't documented. That's the beauty of it. I do believe this is a spiritual successor to Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. You didn't have to even tell me after I hear Silver Shamrock. I'm no idiot. But I love that idea. This is The Ring. This is Ringu for us. The Oogieloves. You watch it and 7 days later, your brain gets fried. All right, back to the Discord. Johnny Unusual writes, Paul claims there are 2 Oogieloves sequels and a TV show, but I can't find any evidence of the sequels or TV show besides My Bedbugs, which came earlier. Dr. Guts follows up by saying, I believe the sequels and TV show were planned but never came to fruition. Here's an excerpt from a 2012 Entertainment Weekly article that discusses what Weisselman wanted to do. Weisselman is moving forward with 2 sequels, The Oogieloves and the Big Family Adventure and The Oogieloves and the Big Holiday Adventure, though he might reconsider whether to release them theatrically or straight to DVD. Additionally, a TV series initially planned for 2015 will be moved up by at least a year to capitalize on the familiarity with the new characters. The movie's backers remain committed to the brand. It's about the long play, not the short. The financiers told me this chapter did not go well, but it's a good story. Well, clearly those backers pulled out because this was essentially a money laundering scheme, right? We found that out. We believe that to be true. I think so. So yes, I was wrong about that. But you know what? In my hopes and in my heart of hearts, I believe there's a script out there, and I challenge you to find it. Find that script. Mr. Grossum writes, when I heard about the Oogieloves producers' plan to equip each movie theater with special VFX lights that synchronized to the movie, I was reminded of another piece of film that required special equipment in order to be experienced as a creative team intended, namely Fantasia. Despite being released in 1940 and having some technical positive reviews, the impracticality of implementing a fantasy sound, a new type of multi-speaker sound system, kept the movie as something of a financial flop until 1969, when they could remarket it in the psychedelic drug culture. So is Oogieloves just waiting for its renaissance? In 30 years, will it be featured on Unspooled? Yes, it will. But you know what? We're not talking about these 3DX theaters. I love this shit. I'm all in on these movie theaters where they shoot bubbles and mist you and lightning strikes and the seats punch you. I've been at the forefront. I saw Fast and Furious 5 at Mann's Chinese Theater in a D-box seat. Now they have like D-box theaters. They're here in LA. They're in New York. I saw Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation there when Tom Cruise is getting punched in the belly. I'm getting punched in the back. When I saw Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, I was on the raft. Water's hitting me in the face. The seat moves. It's the best experience. We need to get Oogieloves in there for a limited release. I believe that is a feature that no one wants but me, but I love it so much. Pecan Sandys writes, so Paul mentioned that the IMDb parental guide listed severe language, nudity, violence, and frightening and intense scenes. It was theorized that this was to protect other parents from watching this nonsense. I just want to point out to what creative extent some of the parents went to with the details. One warning says, there's a scene where a character rips another character's eyes out of its sockets. It's a long scene and very gross and gory for young kids. The next one describes a scene where a hot air balloon with multiple main characters inside crashes. This is a very sad scene as the balloon quickly plummets to the ground. The Oogieloves hold hands and close their eyes. One of them tries to say something, but the balloon hits the ground and the explosion vaporizes them. It's like they're creating a little Oogieloves fan fiction to keep the parents and children safe from this atrocity. Good times. Oh my God, that is amazing. Pecan Sandies, thanks for getting in there. So many great corrections and omissions this week, but there can only be one winner. And I mean, it's going to be hard to pick, right? Because we've found the beauty of this movie with our anonymous caller from Washington, D.C. We've also fact-checked some things that I never needed to get fact-checked. But I have to say, the person who really brought it all together for me, I think you already know where I'm going. It is Vitrio. Vitrio calling out the J. Edgar Hoover, keeping tabs, and pillows working at night are things I never even thought about. So Vitrio, you win nothing but this amazing song from Caleb Gillow. Hit it, Caleb.
You win.
If you want to chime in with your own thoughts about the latest episode, hit up the Discord at discord.gg/hdtgm or call us at 619-PAUL-ASK. Coming up, June will join me to chat about all the things that we are currently into. It takes some dark turns. I'm not going to lie to you. We'll be back. People, every Monday, How Did This Get Made is pulling an old episode out of the vault and re-releasing it back into the rotation. Last week, we started off the holiday season with our re-release of Babes in Toyland, and this next week, we are continuing this tradition with Winter's Tale with Andy Daly. That's a really fun episode, and I encourage you to go back and listen to the show when it was, still finding its footing. Coming up on 12 years, people. Burlesque is almost 12 years old, so that means we're almost 12 years old. Now, Jason, unfortunately, could not join me for Just Chat this week, but our producers put a call into June's agent to see if she'd fill in. And after lengthy negotiations for a chunk of Just Chat's back-end profits, June has graciously agreed to join us. So in honor of June's hometown today, Just Chat's theme comes to us courtesy of Rob from Long Island. By the way, I'm also from Long Island, so for both of us. Hit it, Rob. How are you, June?
I'm okay. How are you, Paul?
Good. Welcome to Just Chat. Normally it's Jason and I just chatting. We talk about the things we like, what we're into, what we're watching, what we want other people to watch. And we don't often get a chance to come on the mini episode and just chat with us. So I'm very excited to have you here. And I know that you have a lot of things you want to chat about. I mean, obviously the holidays are here.
Yeah, and I'm realizing that this was formerly known as Pork Chat.
Yes.
Okay, so that's been rebranded. Recently.
Yes, within like the last 2 or 3 times.
Wow.
We have guests on now. Natasha Leggero is here. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I could tell you off air.
Okay. I just didn't recognize for a second. I was like, wait, what show am I on? Okay,
yeah, you're on Just
Pork
Chat.
Chat is now Just Chat.
Which is a part of Last Looks, formerly the mini episodes.
Are we ever going to land on what it is?
Growing, baby. We're growing. We're changing it every chance we get. Spin-offs. It's like when Who's the Boss?
Spin-offs.
Remember when Alyssa Milano on Who's the Boss, her city friend came in, and then they went to like modeling school, and they spun that off into a brand new show with Halle Berry.
You know, I got to say, I'm so glad we're talking about Who's the Boss, because the chemistry between Judith Light and Tony Danza was electric.
It really was. And this is
you don't find that much nowadays.
You got to come on my Twitch show, the only Who's the Boss recap podcast live stream. Look, it's not a joke. We are getting into all this.
Well, I was very upset because if you remember, when my father was in the ICU and very, very ill, you had taped up a photo of Tony Danza naked.
Yeah, very large dick on that man.
This is beautiful dick.
Beautiful black and white photo of Tony Danza's large dick. And he's so happy. He's like, oh, you caught me with my dick out. Like he's not embarrassed about it, but he's also like not trying to show it off. I think that's what makes it so fun because
it does feel like it's not a candid like, oh, they got it's not like, oh, we caught him unaware. But you caught him and in the next 10 seconds he's happy you did.
It's like the way that they react in Jackass when you hit them in the balls. It's like, oh, good one. It's a good one. And that's, I think there's something. But yes, I did put that up in your.
Taped it too. You know, we had taped up while my dad was recovering and going through a very serious illness. We had taped up pictures of his grandkids, pictures of his children, you know, so that when he was lucid and awake, he could be reminded of what he was fighting for, what he was undergoing, and what it was all for. And so it was a beautiful little collage we had put together, printed out photos, brought photos with us. And then among them, there was...
Thank you for correcting yourself.
That picture of Tony Danza. And when my dad woke up, he saw it, you know, and the nurses saw it. Everybody saw it. And he said to me, you know, again, just barely hydrated, barely able to speak. He said to me, Paul's really demented. With such like resignation, you know, just like,
I also conjured Dad to be on my Sylvester Stallone podcast, which was like a post-first birth project that I did where it was the Sylvester Stallone show where he never appeared on the show. And then he had to talk to me about stopping to do the show. And I gave him very little background to
I don't remember this bit. I don't remember this.
Oh, yeah. Your dad was a full guest on the Sylvester Stallone podcast where he said, you got to stop doing this. I think I tried to record with him under the guise of, tell me what you remember about Sylvester Stallone. And then he got irritated with me. He was all in on the bit. Your dad was ready to roll with it at any given point. He made some podcast appearances. We're going into the holidays now. And I think that like, what is your perfect holiday movie? Do you have a perfect holiday movie?
I think you know what that is.
I know. And I want to say it on record. I want to say it on record.
It makes nuts.
Nora Ephron written and directed?
Yes, I believe she directed it.
Steve Martin starring,
Actually,
Adam
I don't
Sandler.
know if she directed. All of a sudden, I'm questioning that.
I think she did.
I think she did. Yes.
It's a great cast.
Oh God.
Everyone loves a Christmas
Rita
comedy.
Wilson
and a suicide prevention hotline. It's a movie that you cannot be reasoned with that it's not
Madeline
the best.
Kahn is in this movie. It's amazing. Liev Schreiber, Adam Sandler, young Adam Sandler, Juliette Lewis. I mean, it is absolutely...
Anthony LaPaglia
giving a wonderful performance. Everybody's just at the top of their game.
Not one of the movies that you want to like pop in, but you always want to pop it in.
I absolutely love it. It's so comforting to me. It's so
dark. It's so weird.
It's not though. It's
like a play.
I'm sure she wrote it as a play, I do think there's enough movement in the movie when, you know, they're running through the Venice boardwalk, and oh God, I just love it so much. And you're right.
Much movement. It really just stays in one room in an elevator.
No, one of the funniest bits, and you laughed very hard at it, is Liev Schreiber when he walks out, and we realize where he's been living. His performance in it is just next level.
He is one of my favorite performers because he's always bringing it. Like he does I feel like a progressive ad. And even in that, I'm like, wow.
Well, this
that insurance ad is pretty good.
Is so strange and so realized. It's really remarkable. And the dance sequence he has with Steve Martin is one of the best things I've seen in my whole life. So yeah, it deals with a suicide prevention hotline center that's about to be they're about to be evicted from their building, and
but it's so light and bright and wonderful. I loved it.
Well, that's your favorite holiday movie. Wow. I just read an article today. One of my favorite holiday movies is Scrooged, the Bill Murray film.
And yet we haven't seen it in years.
Oh, I watch it every year.
With who do you watch it with?
I mean, I thought you watched it with me.
I didn't watch it last. I haven't watched it in years.
A lot of times you are falling asleep. You're listening to Murder Doc Potts.
No, but I'm always
Pods.
up for a holiday movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried to suggest a few, but even last night you're like, let's watch that documentary on Ghislaine Maxwell. Like I was like, let's watch Ghislaine. I was like, let's watch these deleted scenes from Planes, Trains, Automobiles because it's a new thing.
And I did watch them, and I loved it.
You watched about 2 or 3 of them, which are great, by the way. They basically unearthed John Hughes's vault, and they unearthed it like Geraldo Rivera, like opening up. They just got access to all these extended scenes. It's not like it was lost and found, but people have been begging for these scenes. Like they're like, we need to see the 4-hour cut, and you never need to see the 4-hour cut of anything. The reason, yes, movies come in longer than they're intended to, especially comedies, because there's beats and whatever. These scenes are very, very funny, but you were like, I could see it in your eyes. You're like, need to get back to that Ghislaine doc and let's put up the Christmas tree and watch the Ghislaine doc. And I started watching that last night. I was like, oof, Merry Christmas. Give me a mixed nuts.
Well, I had already been about 30 minutes into it, so I did want to see the end of it. And
it was good.
And then I woke up this morning. Well, I don't know how good it was, but I woke up this morning.
Good. You can't say it's like good.
Yeah. I woke up this morning in a total and utter rage about Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
You did. And here's how I know, because your phone was dead and you grabbed my phone. And then what I saw in the search engine, all I had was I'm sleeping. We've just gotten back from New York. I'm still on New York time. You're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, reading me the account of Jeffrey Epstein's death.
Yeah, beat by beat. You know, that fucking jail, prison, whatever the fuck it was. Yeah, I'm very devastated for the victims that he didn't get his day in court and that he couldn't rot with his heart still beating for the rest of his fucking life in a prison cell. I am absolutely enraged by it.
And now I'm on some sort of watch list because the minute I tried to open an app that started with a G, my iPhone opened just to like a flurry of Ghislaine pictures. And I was like, oh boy, now I got this. Like, now I'm being watched. Why am I like
Fuck
checking?
her, maniac. She is described in this movie as a psychopath. And I think what I shared with you this morning, I don't know how deep Just Chat goes.
Oh, we go deep.
Oh, okay. But what I shared with you this morning is that the terrifying thing to me about Ghislaine is I do feel that I would have been in my 20s, teens, really taken with that kind of woman, and that she would have had a lot of power over me, and that she would have made me feel special, comfortable, blah, blah, blah. And so seeing and reading about what she did and how she made these girls, children feel okay, you know, it's just horrifying because she really did. She really did.
And again, we don't go that deep normally, but I'm glad we got a chance to get a little bit into it. I'm just now switching. I don't know how to switch out of it. That's really the.
Well, no, that's why I wanted to, and I'm not done. I'm
Okay,
after Just Chat is over, I'm gonna go back in. I watched about 20 minutes while I was packing, and I'm gonna go back in and finish it up. I do know she's been sentenced, and I think she got 20 years, it sounds like. But I need to understand more about the charges, etc. But I hope she fucking rots in hell.
Well, okay, I get it.
Rots in hell.
I get it. And look, and again, so we're talking about the holidays are here. Pop and mix nuts. Follow it down with a Ghislaine Maxwell doc. All the things that we're enjoying in the holidays. Now,
Today was a big day in our house. Because today was the day where we decorated.
We did decorate everything. And you were very upset with me because my grandma used to have these like wooden figurines, these like Christmas Carol, Charles Dickens themed wooden figurines. I don't know how to describe them. They are scary looking.
If you've seen them, I think some people do have a reference point for them. They're they're carolers, right? So all of them have their mouths wide open in sort of a singing position.
Like they're all big.
Yeah, maybe it's more of an O. You're right.
Oh.
But they're called, what's their Christian name?
I don't know. There's a long name. There's many dolls, and they're all sold in these things. And my grandmother left her house, and she had literally 125 of these dolls, to which I asked, may I have a few? And she said, no, the set cannot be broken up. And she gave them to my one of my cousins, who I love dearly. And I don't want to take 125 dolls from my cousin, but I also was like, I don't think that he can display 120. I don't think anyone can display 125
But
dolls.
her point was like, they're telling a story together. It wasn't even
Her point was, I don't want to break up the set as if they were a grouping of children. It's like, I can't separate the family, like, because then they'll grow up and
the crazy thing was, now I'm looking back on this and I'm like, I don't think she was upset. I don't think she was feeling like your cousin's dolls wouldn't make sense if he had 120, if you had 5. It wasn't that his 120 wouldn't make sense together. It was that your 5 wouldn't make a lick of sense together.
Well,
like, they would be chaotic. They would have a home and yet be so homeless.
And then this is the issue that I have, because now I express this to not to you, my lovely wife, but to my parents.
In our family,
yes.
Yeah.
And they all decide to buy these dolls for me that I don't really even...
Because long story short, you didn't get any of the dolls.
I didn't get the dolls.
You didn't get any of the and by the way, grandmother is living, doing quite well.
95 years old.
Yes, but
great.
You didn't get any of the dolls.
My grandma did a weird thing where she did her will as like people say, a living will. She barters her stuff out and then will consistently ask for things back and then reassign them to other people. The will is kind of like where like most people get to be like, oh, when I die, this will be yours. Here, she's like, as I live, I will determine who will keep these after I pass. So it's a very different way to go.
It is an amazing way to rule. It really is. But you didn't get the dolls. Yes, a lot of people have purchased these dolls for you now, and we have more dolls than I ever thought we'd have. Now,
I didn't even want here's the thing. I didn't even want these dolls. I only wanted the doll.
You did want the doll.
I wanted the doll.
Don't take the position now if you didn't want it. I was with you. I remember
I wanted those dolls.
You wanted those dolls because they were special memories.
Sentimental, yeah.
Sentimental dolls. But you did want those dolls.
Yeah, but the sentimental, I didn't, like, it was like, it's like I wanted something from my grandmother's house, not like...
That you remembered.
Yes.
It wasn't like you would take those dolls from anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
But yet this is the position I'm forced into. And now people don't understand how the dolls do.
It's so funny that you are making fun of your grandmother because so today the dolls came out. The dolls that people have purchased now over the last couple of years since Paul did not receive them.
And I do like to keep them in the Charles Dickens Christmas Carol world. That's the world that I
into.
Okay.
So all of the dolls are fine. I mean, they're a little odd looking, I'm not going to lie, but they're Christmassy and fine except for one.
Well, okay, you have an issue with this because, all right, so I really wanted to tell the story. I really wanted to explore the story of the carolers through Charles Dickens' immortal classic, The Christmas Carol. And so we have we have a Marley, we have a Scrooge, we have a Ghost of Christmas Present, and we also have a Ghost of Christmas Future, which you think I've gotten some sort of satanic doll in the house.
Okay, once you explained it, I said, of course, that's who that is. But it is very frightening looking.
Well, most of them are British people, very happily carrying hens or fish or looking happy, caroling. And this one character has no face. He is completely covered in a cloak, carrying a tombstone in his hand.
Yes, that says Ebenezer Scrooge on the tombstone. And he's faceless and with a heavy hood and cloak. It's terrifying.
Nice and made.
Okay, so the dolls were sitting on a cabinet last year. And because they were all together in a big clump, I was able to hide, not a clump, but I know they were positioned according to their storylines. Where they were relating to each other in some sort of way.
It's my
I
special.
know. But I was able in that setting to place the Ghost of Christmas Future in the back. Now,
yeah, you're always hiding this guy.
Well, so this morning,
It's part of the story. It's a major part of the story.
This morning, when the dolls came out, we opened the box with the dolls in them. I said, I did have a vision, because a part of my Halloween decor that's gone over very well that people love to comment on is that I've taken our staircase, because our staircase has there's a little bit of landing that comes out of the staircase. So when you walk in our front door, you can actually eye level, you can see. So I put on Halloween different little figurines. So here's a pumpkin, here's a skull, here's a crow.
We're both weirdos.
On this. Well, that's Halloween. That's the time. That's actually
I'm just saying that
where,
we're both like getting into a lot of decorating.
Well, I wouldn't call that weird. We're just decorating for Halloween. So I had done that the last 2 years, and to much success. And then
You say to me
so
today.
I say to Paul, I say, oh my God, let's have the dolls on the staircase, each on that little landing piece all the way up the stairs. And it came to me like from the beyond. Now, Paul gets his dolls out. Yeah, there's no other way to put it. His dolls.
They're not my dolls. And here's the thing. I don't.
Of course they're your dolls.
They are my dolls by default. Like now, they were given to me. They weren't like
and you received them, and now they're your dolls. That's fine. But they are your dolls.
I would say I have more of an attachment to the Christmas Village than the dolls. I don't need any more dolls. And I will say that
they're both yours. You might love your Christmas Village more, but they're both yours.
And now I'll say this one thing about this. I do get upset, like now, as somebody who's saying they're not my dolls. I mean, they are my dolls. Technically, I've been given them. Like they've been forced upon me. But I will say this: when you buy me a doll that's out of the Dickens world, I'm pretty pissed off at you, because now I have to figure out how to. I got to figure out how to get this non-Brit.
Well, this is where this. Okay, so this came into play. So I see, as I'm putting finishing touches on the tree, I see out of the corner of my eye, Paul has placed the murder doll directly in the middle of the stairs, so that when you open the door, it's eye line. And as you know, when you go to supermarkets, Targets, like the products that are at eye level, they pay for that placement. Like brands pay for that.
You're not like blowing my mind with this fact. Okay.
Okay, but I'm saying you gave that fucking murder doll, the death doll, the prime.
Well, I was telling a
piece of
story.
real estate.
I was telling a story on the stairwell. I mean, the story it was leading up to that point. It just happens to be the height level of where he was at was where the story was concluding.
So just chatters. I said to Paul, I said, no, there's no way, no how this doll is staying right here. We got to push the doll either way down or way up. And then Paul's telling me we can't replace him with that little girl because she's got a long stocking or something that has to hang over the stands.
No. The young children are modern day children.
Okay, so his big thing is, again, much like his grandmother, apple doesn't fall that far from the tree. He's not willing to break up the set. He's not willing to put
drop
Dickensian
with like 1950 Americana. I'm not going to do it. It makes a very big difference. It looks weird. Their characters are not right. I refuse it. It's the same type of people who do these like Christmas villages, and then all of a sudden there's like a Clark Griswold house in there. No.
Okay. And I do, God, I respect the hell out of it, Paul, and it is all only makes me love you so much more. So I do think we came to somewhat of a compromise.
We moved him around a little bit.
And we moved him around. You don't seem thrilled with where he is.
But at least I didn't put an Americana doll in that area. Like not an American Girl doll, Americana, like this, whatever this other thing is. Like I don't even know. It's not really even I got two Santas. I don't need two Santas. I don't even want a Santa.
Did you put that other Santa away?
Mm-hmm. I don't want another Santa. I don't need two Santas on the stair. We already have one. We don't need to see.
I would actually, I'm going to put in a formal request to either bookend or can we move that Santa? Why don't we put all the Dickens characters on the stairs and we'll take all of the Americana characters and put them somewhere else?
No,
Are there enough?
No, it's not because the Americana ones don't look as good. I can get into this more, but I sound like they may make a documentary about me that you're going to watch. They may have to put me to jail at this point.
Okay, speaking of, last thing I'll say, because I know we got to wrap it up. But speaking of dolls, I don't know if you've talked about scare tactics on Just Chat.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was going to set you up for something else, but please tell us this because I don't even know where this is going.
Oh my God. There is an episode of Scare Tactics where this one actor...
One of the best.
God, he's fucking good. But
Friends with Rob Hubel.
I had no idea. I'd love to have him on Just Chat to talk about. Have you had him on your Twitch
This
show?
is a great idea.
I mean, babe, he's a star. So I
think his name is Jerry.
I encourage everyone to go to the episode of Scare Tactics where this actor plays, the Mark is this woman who thinks she's going to cater a party. And she shows up and this actor approaches her and he's like, yeah, I just, my friends are inside and I just don't want you to be weird around them. Like, just please, they're very wealthy. They're very Jerry Lambert. There he is. They're very serious. And I just don't want you to, upset them. And she's like, oh, okay. He's like, please just be normal, be cool. And she walks into the room with him. And there are mannequins everywhere, placed in different positions.
One of the
toasting, talking to each other, all mannequins. And look on her face. And she goes, oh. And he goes, offer my guests some drinks, please. And it unfolds. And it is and his acting in it is so fucking good. And she realizes, because he then says to her, I'd love you to be one of my guests in a dinner party or something really fucking crazy. And she runs out, blah, blah, blah.
By the way,
Are you scared? Yes, you're on Scare Tactics. But Jerry Lambert gives the performance of a lifetime.
He also does the one where the wife is in the coma.
Oh, yeah. He does all of the greats, okay? All of the classic. And so does Lauren Ash, who I know has now been on
many things.
Many, many things. And so it's just wonderful to see our Scare Tactics cast doing so well out in the world because we just saw Jerry Lambert
in the Santa Clauses.
In the Santa Clauses on Disney Plus. And it was a thrill to see him out there.
The prank is called Party Forever.
Party Forever.
And if you type in Scare Tactics Classics, Party Forever Parts 1 and 2.
Classic.
I guess are all mannequins.
Delivers it. Oof. So good. Yeah.
He's great. Wife in Coma was another great one with him. By the way.
But anyway, that's what I was just going to say. Another man with dolls. Another man with many, many dolls.
And by the way, I feel like all these things we just talked about all kind of come together perfectly. So June, thank you for joining me on Just Chat. It's been a pleasure.
I love Just Chat. I can't wait to come on again if you'll have me.
I would love to have you. And I know that before we go for the holidays, you have one product that you want to tell everybody about. You don't have to give you a full sale, but you want to at least just tell people about the Beats Flex.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I would love, actually, the easiest way to do this is I'm only releasing one product on my gift guide for this Christmas and the holidays. So please head to my Instagram and I posted 2 videos. I might post another one. So look out because I've been getting a lot of DMs,
Very
a lot
excited
of comments.
About this is not a paid ad. This is a true June Diane. You woke me from a slumber once again to tell me I have to make a TikTok about these Beats Flex. And I was like,
yes, they're Beats Flex headphones and
no one's paying you.
They're the only thing that's on my gift guide this year.
And by the way, I came home and I saw we have 10 Beat Flexes here.
I told you I'm giving them out to everyone I care about this Christmas.
Wow. Do I get one of those?
Maybe.
Wow. All right.
It's an expensive stocking stuffer, but they were on sale for Black Friday. So see if you can get them. I promise you will not regret it. And if you want more information, head to my Instagram and you can watch my reviews.
Well, that's it for June. I mean, we really ran the gamut. Jason and I, our chats pale in comparison. June, the incomparable June Diane Raphael. Check her out on TikTok and make sure you listen. TikTok, which is where all the ladies make all their great vids. But also, if you're not listening to the deep dive, you are missing out on a show that I would love to listen to, but I'm forbidden to hear. But everyone tells me how great it is. Now that we got Oogieloves out of the way, let's talk about next week's movie. We are going from Oogieloves to Puppy Love. That's right. Next week, we are watching the 2019 made-for-TV movie 12 Pups of Christmas. If you live in San Francisco, you can come see us this weekend. December 3rd, we'll be there talking about this live. Here's a short breakdown of the plot. A recently single canine therapist gets a new job at a dog GPS locator company where her self-centered boss tasks her with finding homes for 12 puppies before Christmas. This movie has 0 views on Rotten Tomatoes, so instead we'll turn to Amelia Copeland on Letterboxd, who says, I always try to find something nice to say about movies I watch because people worked hard on them, but this seriously, the only redeeming feature about this movie are the dogs, and it's an insult to every single one of them that they had to be involved in this absolute atrocity. Listen to the trailer.
Welcome to Doggone. You must be Aaron. We've been expecting you.
Tell me, what is it that a canine therapist does?
I help people and dogs learn to live better through nonverbal communication. Dogs are only happy if their owners are happy.
Well, might as well go ahead and put you to work. Puppies! I'm gonna need you to get rid of these little monsters by Christmas.
I think I'd like to tackle your disdain for dogs.
No.
You can't have a company for dogs if you don't like them.
Oh, I love this movie. June and I watch this on our own, not even for the podcast. I can't wait for you to see it. You can watch 12 Pups of Christmas for free on Hulu, Tubi, and Pluto TV, or you can rent it on Apple TV, YouTube, or Amazon. I encourage you to check out Hoopla and Canopy, which are digital media services offered by your local public library that allow you to borrow music, movies, audiobooks, ebooks, comics, and more for free. That is it for the show. Remember to rate, review us. It helps. And if you listen on Apple Podcasts, make sure you are following us. Visit us on social media at HDTGM. And for commercial-free access to How Did This Get Made and our entire archive and so much more, sign up for Stitcher Premium for a free 1-month trial. Use the offer code BONKERS. A big thanks to our producers, Scott Sani and Molly Reynolds, our movie-picking producer, Avril Halley, our engineer, Devin Bryant, and our publisher, July Diaz. We will see you next week for 12 Pups of Christmas.
How did this get made?